Well, I'm just sitting here at the cabin enjoying the peace and quiet, the radio playing in the background, a really nice fire in the fireplace, keeping it warm in here. It's wonderful. And you know what? I can't use a gas-powered engine on the lake. I have a trolling motor actually it's not my trolling motor, it's my wife's trolling motor for my wife's boat. The aluminum one down there. Let's see if I can focus in on it. The little aluminum one underneath my canoe. So, watching the rain. The lake is at full pool. Neighbor's dock across the way there has broken off, but it's underwater right now. There's another dock right through there. You can just barely see it beyond the redbuds there that is touching the water right now. That's the first time I've ever seen that dock touching the water. I've seen it above it, but I've never seen it touching. So that means that the Lost Boys dock is definitely underwater completely. And that's the one I've canoed across before when I was fishing and the lake was up. But anyway, they can't close this lake because it's private. And I have this huge picture window. It's 6 foot tall by 7 foot wide that allows me to look out on the landscape and see the squirrels and the rabbits and the red-winged blackbirds and the robins and the cardinals and the goldfinches and occasional blue bunting. We have a blue heron out here. We've also had a green heron. I saw a wood duck earlier. There's a squirrel going up the tree, or the tree house. There was a wood duck swimming around here earlier today. We've had mallards, but there were a couple of geese earlier. They've moved on. I guess they've moved back north. But anyway, yeah, this is great. I love it. Social distancing, quarantine, not a problem. Okay, this is the deepest I've ever seen this water on this lake. That dock has never been touching the water. That dock's been here as long as we've been out here, for 15 years, if not a lot longer than that. But yeah, the water's up touching that dock. I've never seen the water this deep before. And my dock over here, the one that's dilapidated that I need to rebuild, is actually partially in the water. The back part of it. So this lake hasn't been at full pool for quite some time. It's finally up there. But I'm going to go down to the end of the lake and check the dam, see what it looks like. Seems to be holding nicely. That dock is underwater back there at the shoreline. Now this dock I've seen underwater before. I've actually canoed over the top of it in the past. But it's quite a ways under. They built that bench on there a few years ago. And that's the only way you can tell there's still a dock out here. Well, just wanted to show you where the water's at on my dock here. You can see the water line right there. So the end of my dock is actually just barely in the water. And 2 years ago, this dock was sitting on dry land all the way out here. You could walk around the end of it. It's 14 feet long, and the ramp, I think, is 10 feet long. It might be 12. So we're out here quite a ways on the water. And you can see the bamboo pole I put in the water at the water's edge at its lowest point, and it was actually beyond that out here last or 2 years ago, a good foot beyond that bamboo pole. So we're in about 6 feet of water right here right now. So it's come up all the way. I went down and looked at the overflow pipe, or tried to look at the overflow pipe. I could not find it. It's completely underwater. And since they sealed it up, there's no water draining into it. And everything's going out the whistle that they put in several years ago. And the whistle was completely underwater. So the lake's way up. Hopefully we don't get a whole lot more rain. So while I was out there, I managed to catch this nice big red ear. It's the biggest red ear I've ever caught. And it weighs 0.88 ounces, or pounds rather. So it's not quite a full pound, but as you can see, it's a pretty good sized fish. There's my size 12 shoe next to it, so it's a pretty good sized fish. It's the biggest one I've ever caught out of this lake, but hey, it'll be good eating. So I had my son and son-in-law put this flagpole in for me many years ago, and I've already put 2 flags on it that have been shredded by the wind, so I'm still waiting to get around to buying another good one. But I put this base around it, and these are natural stones that I bought from a place that I worked, and a couple yucca plants that I bought from that same place, and some fabric, and rocks that were discarded by a customer. So I'm going to put these around here to kind of keep the weeds down. But anyway, yeah, it's looking real good.